Hi Year 7, welcome to your third trombone lesson. Today we'll be learning to play our first piece of music, which is very exciting. By the end of our lesson today, you'll also be able to play two different notes, our F and D, and you'll be reading some simple rhythms. So, let's get started. Right, let's get our trombones together. I'm going to put together my P-bone today. So get your case, or if you have a P-bone as well, we normally have a little bag instead of a case. Get that flat on the floor, undo the zip carefully, and let's find our slide. So make sure the holes are pointing towards the ceiling. It's slightly different on the P-bones. There isn't as difference in height as we had on the brass trombone. But if you grab your mouthpiece, you should see that the mouthpiece it doesn't properly fit in that one. It only fits in the one where the slide lock is, okay? The tube where the slide lock is. So we put our mouthpiece in and grab our bell with our left hand, put it down onto the left side of the slide, and there we go. We just twist it on with the P-bone. And this is the point to remember. If you've put it together and it's going to the right, just loosely twist it round and make a square shape or a V shape. And there we have it. Let's get our slide locks on and we're ready to start. Okay, let's get on with our warm-up. Last lesson we talked about the word posture, which was how we were standing and sitting and how we were holding our body. Let's recap some of those things. So before we start our warm-up, make sure our feet are flat on the floor, no cross-legged. Make sure you're sat up if you are sitting, or stood up nice and straight if you're standing. No slump backs. And then just get your head nice and loose on the top of your spine. Perfect, we can begin. Grab your mouthpieces. Right, we're going to count in for 4 beats, breathing in and blowing and buzzing out for 4. We'll do this 3 times, just like our last lesson. So have your trombone in rest position. Bring that mouthpiece to your face. We should be getting good at this now. Remember to breathe through your mouth, not your nose. As soon as I start clicking, we'll start breathing. And then when we reach 4, we're going to buzz out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely. Great. Don't worry if that didn't sound exactly like mine, if it was higher or lower, just keep focused on making that sound. Let's try the same thing today with our mouthpiece back in. And we're going to try the same exercise on note F. So we can gently breathe in for 4 counts, and then we try and hold our F for 4 counts as well. So when you're ready, we can keep our slide lock on for this. Let's bring our trombones to play position and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest position. Well done, you should feel nice and warmed up with your lips now. Let's have a look at how we play our new note, D, on the trombone. So last lesson, we spoke about the slide and how we have different positions to know where to stop with. We had 7 in total. Now don't worry if you've forgotten some of them, we can go over them as we learn new notes. For note D, we will be using the slide. Unlike with F, which was in first position, with our slide completely closed, D is played in 4th position. So have a think. Can you roughly remember where 4th position might have been? So I'll show you. So 4th position was after the bell. So the bar on the slide comes after the bell. Well done if you remembered that. So this is where our note D is going to be. I'd like you to carefully bring your trombone up to play position and unlock your slide. Make sure you've got a good grip on it and see if you can find that 4th position for me. Good. And then I'd like you to try and move in from 1st position to 4th position. In, out, in, out. Lovely. Great, let's go back to rest position. You can lock your slides momentarily. So before you have a go at playing it, I'm going to play a D for you. And I'm going to approach it in the same way that we played our F. So I'm thinking about my embouchure with the corners of my lips, buzzing my lips together with that raspberry sound, and also blowing out those candles. I love that analogy. Always remember that one. So D sounds like this. Great. I'd like you to unlock your slides, bring your trombone up to play position, and see if you can match my D. Nice try, Year 7. Let's put our trombones back in rest position. Hopefully your D matched mine. If it didn't and you'd like to just try it a little bit more, why don't you just rewind the video or pause it and just try that D a few more times and then join us back. We will be doing some copy back on D now. So we'll have a few more opportunities to try and play it. So while we do this copy back on D, I want us just to recap on last week's lesson where we talked about tonguing and using that two sounds. So why don't we just try and say two? Good. And think about what your tongue is coming forward to make that sound, but you're not actually using your voice. It's just to help us project the air out. Okay? So think about that while we copy back on D. I'm going to put some music on. Let's do, we'll do 2 bars, so 8 beats in total. I will play, and then you copy back my rhythms, okay? So it's got a bit longer to copy back. What I will do is I'll start on D, but I will change to F at some point. And I'd like you to obviously listen out for that. You might be able to see it as well. And while you're doing that, I want you to think, which one of those notes is higher? Is it the F or the D? Okay, so I'm going to press play. Get your slide locks unlocked because we're going to be moving that slide, and play position. Me first. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Rest position, slide locks on. Well done. So I wonder if any of you got the answer of which note is higher, the F or the D. The answer is F is a little bit higher. It's not a big massive difference. They should feel fairly kind of similar to play. But the F is the higher one. Great. It is time to move on to our first piece of music. So our first piece of music is called Find Your Feet, and it's only using our F, okay? So we can leave D for the time being. And the reason I know it's F is because what we learnt about last lesson. So let's recap some of those words. First of all, these lines going across are called the stave. And our F sits on our fourth line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all these notes, even though these look a bit different, they're all an F. So all in first position. We also mentioned this sign that you can see here. It is called the bass clef, you might have remembered. But we also have some new things going on. So let's talk through them. We've got 2 numbers. These are called the time signature. That basically it just tells us how many beats we are counting in each bar. And then the word bar that I keep saying, I should tell you what it means, is it's like a segment of the music that we divide it up so it's a little bit easier to read. So this line going this way is a bar line, and you can see there's quite a few of them, and basically each of these bars should add up to 4. We'll go through that in a second though. And then last thing to say is at the end you've got 2 lines. It's called a double bar line, and it just means the piece is finished. So it's a little bit like a full stop in a sentence. So let's have a look at some of our rhythms. We're going to use Kadai sounds to learn our rhythms. You might be familiar with this already, but we will just go over it. So the first rhythm we have is this note in this box here, and it's got it's a circle with a line going up or down, as you can see here. It doesn't actually matter which way it goes. It doesn't change the fact that it's worth 2 beats. So we would hold it for 2, like that. And the note below it in this little grid is our ta. It's worth 1 beat. So just a ta. And then underneath that, we have this almost like a lightning bolt, and we're going to call that a ma. It is also worth 1 beat, but instead of playing a note, we're going to be silent, okay? So you can see what I mean now about these bars adding up to 4. So because these 2 are worth 2, we only need 2 of them to fill a bar of 4 beats. Whereas in this bar, we still have 4 beats. We've got our ta, 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 and our ma, which add up to 4 as well. Okay, so let's have a go at saying our Kadai rhythms. I'll go first and then I'd like you to join in with me. So I'm just going to do the first line of Find Your Feet. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, ta, ta, ta. Ta, 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 ta. Simple enough. Let's do it together this time, okay? So I'm going to count 4 beats in, and then let's say our 2s. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, ta, ta, ta. Ta, 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 ta. Great. So have a look at the next line. If you notice, the first 2 bars are exactly the same as the first 2 bars of the top line. It's just the last bar that's different. So I think we can go ahead and say say this second line together. So let's give it a go. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, ta, 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 2, 2. Let's have a go at playing those rhythms on our trombone. So normally we might go through our practice routine, which you can see on a slide, which has our Kadai rhythms, saying our notes and saying and miming our notes. But as we are just using F, today we're going to skip a couple of those steps and go straight into the play. So I'm going to play the first line, and I'd like you to just listen and maybe think about the rhythms. You could try and say them as I play it, and then you're going to have a go at playing it with me. So I'm going to bring my trombone up to play position. I've got my slide in first position. Here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, that's the first line. You might have heard I was using my tongue. I was doing the ta, the 2 sound. See if you can do that as well. It makes it really, it makes it a lot easier to start the notes. So this time I'd like you to play that with me. Here we go. Play position. Slide in first position. Remember to take a breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job. Rest position. Okay, same thing with the second line. Remember, the only difference is the last bar. Everything else is the same, okay? So have a look at your notes. Let's try that second line. Play position. 1, 2, 3. Rest position. Good job. Right, we're going to try the whole thing this time. So in total, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, okay? We're going to play this one more time without any backing track, and then I'm going to put a backing track on so it's a little bit more groovy, and we'll try it, it's a little bit faster as well. So last time at a nice steady speed, both lines though this time. Play position. Don't forget to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. position. Great. Good job, Year 7. So I have one more challenge for those of you who would like it. You might choose to keep playing it nice and steady and just controlling that sound. That's fine. If you're feeling pretty confident with your F, let's try it with the backing track. So it's going to be a little bit quicker. And I have a top tip for you. I want you to use your Mars, so your rests, these are the moments of silence, to take a breath and to take it through your mouth. Okay? It's the perfect time to take a breath, apart from obviously at the beginning before we start. But we need to take a breath probably about halfway through. So you might want to use this Ma here to take a breath in. All right, let's have a listen. We'll listen once and then you can join in. All right. Great. Grab your trombones. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job, Year 7. I think we should do that one more time. And then we'll put our trombones away. Keep yourself in play position. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job. That was our first piece. Really well done. Now we just got time to put our trombone away. Okay, Year 7, let's put the trombone away. Really good job today. Well done with our new note D. Well done with your rhythm, reading, and playing your first piece. Let's make sure our slide is locked. And we're going to take out our mouthpiece, put that in its pocket. Either unscrew the bell or twist it out if you've got the P bone like me. And then safely the slide back in its compartment or its bag. And there we go. See you next lesson.